Americans truly have no idea, and they're not ready for what even can take place previous to Trump taking office. Today, it's not about fear, but it is about learning some of the things that's going on around you. Something in the Congo, something overseas in some of these areas where conflicts are breaking out. Also, what's happening back at home with senators. What's happening back at home with other things such as our financial markets. Today we're going to discuss all those things and how we are not ready. So you need to get ready. I have tons of videos to show you things to think about in cases where you deal with money or deal with hard times or deal with maybe problems with conflicts and blackouts. There's a wide array of things. But today we're going to talk about outbreaks. We're going to talk about a financial problem that we're having that it's really showing its ugly face, and then some conflicts that are happening here domestically. Let's go through this stuff because, again, for the most part, Americans are not ready. And the only way to get ready is to understand what is in front of us. Let's dive into these stories today. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up. It means the world to me, especially when you come to our videos, you comment. It really humbles me. And I love that you spend your days with me. And I love being able to share my life with you. And again, like I told you before, we're going to start doing some lives throughout the weeks of December and January because I want us to be able to speak and spend some time together just going over some questions about what you have, and I want to answer those for you. So be looking for those live notices coming up. Now today we're going to be talking about multiple reports, multiple things that are disturbing, multiple problems that we're having, not only for America, but also the world. Now, the reason I started this video showing that Americans are not ready, because they're not ready. Let's go over some of these things. And I honestly believe that when we talk about Donald Trump taking office, the worry to me is this. For the longest, they've tried everything in their power to not allow him to even get clout and power back. And now all of a sudden, he is going in as president again. What will take place previous to his inauguration? Let's go over this list. First, let's talk domestic. Let's talk about our problems here. More and more senators are coming out against the cabinet picks of Trump. 6 senators now are against Pete Hegseth. Now, these are people who, like Cornyn, of course, Murkowski, Collins, your Senate Majority Leader, Thune, also Lindsey Graham. You're going to keep on having this problem because these people are so encaptivated and so encapsulated in D.C. that even when they have an R behind their name, it means absolutely nothing because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. And Trump and his cabinet would do a lot of that. Now, see the pushback with the DEA. You know, I told you about the DEA and how that guy was a joke and how Trump shouldn't have appointed him. Because of the populist pressure, he backed out. That is what the movement of understanding, knowledge, and wisdom is. Now, let's use that to our advantage when it comes to these senators. These people need to be primaried. They're standing against cabinet choices. Now, mind you, all 6 of these individuals, I think 5 of them voted for the liberal justices that were just put in. I think 5 of them voted for Ketanji Brown Jackson. 5 of them voted for the assistant HHS secretary who can't even figure out if they're a man or woman. So they're saying they have problems with Pete Hegseth. No, what they do is they have problems with what leadership in a de-established D.C. looks like with Trump. Don't let these crooked politicians impact and influence who the cabinet choices are. Because if we want change, the only way we're going to have change is if we get the people that Trump wants in there. So that's the first issue. We have more and more senators pulling against Trump. Now, overwhelmingly, America supported Trump. They voted for him in a landslide. And these senators are going to do everything they can to destroy that. Do not allow them. Now, that's just one story. What's some other things happening in just America? Well, there's a new report of drones being seen. Several drones over New Jersey. Now, we've talked about drones being around certain areas over the last few weeks and months. And again, we think, okay, well, this is probably innocent. No. It's never innocent. There's never innocence in what people are doing. Either it's our own people looking over us, which is surveilled, which is kind of a very dangerous precedent we're setting, almost dystopian, or it's other people who don't like Americans who are trying to get information on America. And we talked yesterday about the sabotage with the telecommunication systems from Sweden to Finland and other parts of Europe. We talked about the fact of how things are not getting sold to America to help with our tech. You don't believe there's people that's checking over us or watching over us or surveilling us? You know, there's UFO reports and all that yesterday. That's playing this while you're watching this. This is actually happening. So while we're focused on this stupid UAP and UFO report, what's actually happening is there's drone warfare happening right above us. Multiple reports of more drones seen over New Jersey. Now, this is not a normal thing. You know, for instance, I have a little drone that I take pictures of our property with, and we fly over, and we've used for vlogs for a long time. But there are certain areas that we could play in because that drone told us of the locations, proximities to, you know, airports and things like that. Now, you tell me how in the world these major cities and these major areas that have all our surveillance and all our intelligence, such as Virginia and parts of New York, how are these drones flying over? So there's one of two things. Either it's our own people spying on us, or other governments who have a lot more power than we give them credit for. This is happening. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But what it does mean is this, that it's not getting better right now. There are some strange things happening, and we need to be paying attention to these things. And this is all happening previous to Trump taking office. Now let's roll right into another story here domestically. These are two statements from Zero Hedge. I want you to listen to this because this is so serious. It says, Zero Hedge says, Trump won and the global economy all of a sudden, unexpectedly, starts to go in a tailspin. And they showed this graph about how, if you look at that graph right there, I don't know if you can tell it, but this is how much it's dropping. I told you before that a lot of times our economy was held up by false monies, by Biden spending like he was spending. All this stuff. And now all of a sudden they're reining in some of that. They're backing down from that because now all of a sudden you have a new leader coming in office and they're going to have a way to blame a catastrophic financial problem on Trump. Here's another poll. It says, and all recent home sales have been revised to lower. Trump has, listen to this, this is what Zero Hedge says. Zero Hedge, if you don't use Zero Hedge for a news site and a broker's news site, it's great for information and it has a lot of wisdom from a lot of different people. But I want you to listen to this. It says, all recent home sales show data has been revised as lower. The commercial and home markets are getting destroyed. And listen to this quote. Trump has no idea of the epic rug pull that he's coming in on. Don't you think sometimes that some of the things, it's funny because the cabinet appointments, yeah, the Democrats are voting against, but the ones who are standing against it that's causing the problems is the ones with the R behind the name, the flipping Republicans. Why are the Democrats so quiet? Because they know this economy is terrible. They know the things that are happening that Biden has held off and that the Democrats have managed to keep from you, the American people. All this stuff is going to take place, and it's going to make Trump look like he is the cause of all of it. And all the while, it's not actually what's happening. EPA person came out yesterday. Actually, they were being undercover watched. He didn't know he was a whistleblower, but he was. But it says, we're trying to spend all our money. We're trying to throw money at everything, billions of dollars, just so it causes problems for Trump as he gets in office. Billions of dollars. Guess what? Biden promised another $1 billion yesterday for Africa. Now, we still have people living in tents trying to get a heater in North Carolina because, look, it's cold. It's 20-something here in South Mississippi. So how cold is it in North Carolina when they have $700 from FEMA and living in tents still because their paperwork wasn't processed correctly? But we just basically had an announcement that Biden was given $1 billion to help African countries. And help me understand that. Help me understand why our government hates us so flippin' much. Another story. And again, I want to keep bringing these up because these are not falsities. These are not fear-mongering tactics. This is stuff that's happening right in front of your eyes. And yes, we're excited that Trump is going to be president. We're excited that there could be a new pendulum swinging. But there's a lot of roadblocks. Listen to this. Biden locks in remote work until 2029. What that does is hold up the Doge movement of Vivek and Elon. He's trying to set all these policies and all this precedent, spend all this money and it locked in to where people can't be changed and things can't be done and straighten the economy out. 42,000 workers for Social Security is now going to be able to work from home because of a last-minute ditch effort with a union deal for Biden. What it does is allow these people not to have to come in. They can work from home. Now, your government is taking your tax dollars, and now they're allowing people to stay at home and not work nearly like they should in the office. And Biden just sealed a deal for 42,000 more people to do it up until 2029. 4 years. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that going to go through all of Trump's term? Don't you think this is the rug pull that Zero Hedge was talking about? They're going to try all they can to absolutely destroy Trump presidency before it even starts. Kash Patel, the choice for FBI, just ironically was hacked by Iran yesterday. He was hacked by Iran in his communications. Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to kind of give you a foreshadowing. He's going to be hacked. Some information is going to come out of him, just like they did with Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard and Matt Gaetz. And what's going to happen is they're going to say, well, this information is leaked. It's not proven, but it's leaked. And so they're going to run with all these stories about Kash Patel. This is how they do it. This is why the legacy media and the bureaucracy and these senators and congressmen and these DC insiders are all sleazy. Your fight and our fight and Trump's fight is just beginning. And I think it's going to be way harder than even 2016, because now they know that Trump has a vendetta and he has an ultimatum to change America, and they're not ready for it. He can't win a third term. He can't go back in office. So what they're saying, hey, he's trying to build a new legacy, a new America, so we've got to do all we can to stop it. You don't believe that's happening right in front of your eyes? Let's go international. Russia tested a hypersonic missile yesterday. So the words have been talking that they are going to use the missiles on Ukraine. They've been talking about it. There was one ICBM the other day that they were saying it was shot into Ukraine. Now listen to this. They are now testing the hypersonic missile to be utilized. They're testing in the sea. So now there's an uptick there because we sold missiles to shoot into Russia. Like Tucker Carlson said yesterday, we're in a hot war. We just don't want to admit it. And now Russia is testing the hypersonic missile. This is the same missile that they said could get to London within 30 minutes. This is the same missile that can carry any kind of nuclear warhead. There's another report, just like we talked last week, that Biden is going to do a nuclear deal with Ukraine where he's going to give them a warhead. Now, is that still alleged? Yes. But the more and more rumblings you hear of that, the more escalation you're going to see of this war, this conflict. The testing of these missiles that can carry warheads to then turn around and say, okay, we're going to just give one to them, and you don't believe we're going to have massive fallout? One attack on one capital, they said, would go anywhere from 5 to 20 million people dead. Is this what we want? And America is the one doing it. The U.S. aid situation in Georgia. They're saying a lot of the problems that's happening in Georgia, South Korea, all these places, a lot of U.S. aid is floating to these places. If you remember in 2014, the things that Biden just pardoned his son for, a lot of those things were because the U.S. put their nose in it, trying to basically do a coup d'etat. Is that what happens in Georgia and Syria right now? When you come down to it, all this animosity and this Middle East turmoil and this problems in South Korea with martial law, is it all because our State Department and our CIA may be doing some things underhandedly to cause some problems, some rifts across the world? Because all this just happens to start happening right now in December before Trump takes office. So now, instead of having 2 or 3 conflicts, he may walk into 8 to 9 conflicts in the world of political unrest and civil unrest and dictatorships falling all across the Middle East, where it's going to make like a vacuum for problems. Look and open your eyes. This is not about fear. This is about what is actually happening across the world. Those things are bad. Every one of those situations make you say, man, this stresses me out, worries me, and I'm trying to enjoy Christmas. I'll give you 2 positive stories, because these positive stories is what can be done if we do it right. Now, I told you earlier about the DEA backing out. The guy that was going to run it was a crook. He put people in prison that shouldn't have been. He put people in jail that was pastors trying to lead their church during the 2020. And guess what? He backed out because of the pressure by us as Americans. I'm going to tell you 2 more stories. New York mayor. he's not the best friend to the Democrats, even though he's a liberal Democrat. He's starting to realize he better start shutting down these migrant shelters. He shut down tons of them. Not only that, he said he is willing to work with Tom Homan, the ICE director, the border czar, to make sure that they can make New York safe again. So there's a change there. There's a break in the chain. There's hope that some places, even the most liberal, can start making changes. I'm gonna give you one more report that's even better. 22% up. What's 22% up? Well, your groceries are 30 or 40%. Your energy is 30%. You know what else is going up? The fact that people are buying Bibles. 22% more sales of Bibles just this year. Also, they said between the 19 and 29 age of men, that it is up about 30% of people wanting to get closer to their morals and values and a faith that can give them peace. That's God. So in a world that is falling to pieces, that we're saying, okay, there's a lot that can take place and a lot that can transpire. And yes, we need to be prepared. Yes, we need to be knowing that things can get worse. Our financial market is faltering. The conflicts across the world is crazy. But we can rely on one thing, is that truth will always be there. Faith in God and through His Son Jesus is making a difference. And that is making a comeback, and that can change the world. The times of Daniel, the times of the disciples, the times of Noah. I mean, you can go back in history and see the church and the people of God always were persecuted. They went through tough times, but it made for stronger leaders. This could be one of those times where we're going to go through some major hard times and some tough times, but there is hope because there's people turning to faith, turning to a Bible, and turning back to spiritual things. This could bring the best spiritual awakening ever. So are we ready for what could take place before Trump's even in office in January of 2025? No, we're not ready. But we can start being prepared. And that takes physical, mental, emotional, but also spiritual preparedness. And that is encouraging, that people are turning back to the right things, not the wrong. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this. Again, my goal for these videos is not to make you fear, it's to make you wake up and understand the severities of these things, but then also see the hope that people are turning to the right things and not the wrong things. Trump can be used by God. His cabinet can be used. The senators can change their mind. Look at New York Mayor. He changed his mind. He's starting to understand. So people can wake up, but it's going to take people like me and you praying, seeking truth and wisdom, understanding a new common sense approach to making hope shine again in America. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I need your thumbs up. I need your comments. I need you to share this video. We appreciate you and humbly thank you for watching today. God bless.